Hey, welcome to Digital Learning. I'm Connie Colosi, Director of Media, Text, and Digital Learning, and we're back to kick off another great season for the 2018-2019 school year. And today I have with me Sarah Truelson, who is the Program Coordinator for Digital Learning, and we're going to be talking about some of the great things that happened over the summer. So Sarah, it's always great when we get back, the classroom starts and we say, you know, what did you do over the summer?
Exactly.
So let me start. Sarah, what did you do over the summer?
Oh boy, we did so much in digital learning. We had lots of trainings for the teachers, from our Building Your Digital Classroom training that we started last year, where teachers come in and learn how to use the tools of Office 365 to create a kind of digital presence for their classrooms, and they learn how to integrate other cool things that we've got. We did a new one called Instructional Technology Reboot, and those ones are actually 2-hour trainings. And it was funny because we had teachers who could pick different topics for those 2 hours. They got to pick 2 45-minute sessions. And we had folks who came to the first one and said, is it possible to sign up for more? And came to every one of the 4 sessions that we offered for it. So they really loved it. They loved the whole idea of kind of a quick, in and out idea of learning some new things. And we had our new big EdCamp this summer as well. That was so much fun and so exciting for the teachers.
So let's loop back a bit to that digital classroom reboot. Is that what you called it?
Yes.
So what were some of the topics that you said they came and they got stuff and they wanted more and came back for more? So what are some things they did pick up there?
We were fortunate with our reboot training because we got the support of many of the vendors that we work with. So we had the folks from Smart come out, and we had sessions on using the new SLSO, which is the new online platform, so the Smart Online Learning System, where teachers can log in on the web instead of just using it installed on their computers. So we had sessions on how to use that. We had a session that focused on the smart labs, so all of the really fun interactive games and programs that you can use on the smart board with your students, whether they're in a pre-K classroom or they're in your physics classroom. So we had teachers who came to learn about those new things, kind of the updates in our big software that's in the district. We had a wonderful trainer, actually the Florida Teacher of the Year for 2017 came out, Jessica, and she trained on Nearpod. So we have a whole new group of teachers who are emailing me every day, Sarah, can I get a Nearpod? I really want to use this with my kids, and they're so thrilled. We had topics on using Safari Montage. So that one was kind of a new program that we had in the district last year and a little bit the year before. And so teachers are now wanting to really kind of bite into it and see what it's all about and how they can use it with their students. All kinds of different topics on using, teaching coding with robots. And, we tried to kind of pay attention to what the teachers were asking for in trainings throughout the year and come up with sessions that we thought were going to be kind of universally wanted. So, and like I say, we had folks who said, I can't make up my mind which one I want to go to. Can I just come to all of the days? So we had morning sessions that went from 9 o'clock to 11. And then we had an afternoon session so that our teachers who were doing Summer Bridge would have an opportunity to come to training as well. Because it's hard, they're teaching most of the summer and they don't always get out to be able to come to some of the bigger trainings that happen in June and the beginning of July. So we had sessions from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock as well.
And we heard an excellent response from those Summer Bridge teachers that were happy to have an opportunity. And, the summer is just really a great time to pick things up because you're not in the press. So those are the summer reboots, and that went really well, and we plan to continue that into next summer. But then I also heard you listing, when you were listing the types of things we did, something called EdCamp.
Yes.
What's that?
EdCamp is, I'll tell you, when I first started learning about EdCamp, it was several years ago. It actually kind of started coming on in about 2010. And I went to a few conferences and I'd hear people talk about this unconference where you go and it's not planned and there's no set schedule per se of who's presenting what and PowerPoints and interactions and things all planned out. And I thought to myself, I don't know about that. I taught elementary school and we had to have things just so, or the children just could, they couldn't handle it. So I wasn't sure about it. And then I kept hearing about it. It was growing in popularity. We went to a conference called FICTL, and they did what they called a mini EdCamp, where basically what happens is a group of like-minded individuals comes together and decides on what's going to be presented on that very day. So for this one and for other EdCamps at the EdCamp Foundation, which is an organization that kind of promotes the use of this type of training, they give participants 2 sticky notes. They can take a yellow sticky note, which basically means they're going to jot down something they want to learn. So this might not be something that they know that much about, might not be something they're really comfortable leading a conversation for. They just really have been hearing about it or maybe dabbled in a little bit and they really want to know more about it. So they write that on a yellow sticky note. Then we also have some folks who do have some knowledge of some of these topics and they have a lot to share. They are the experts in their field. They don't have to be the perfect presenters on it, but they've got knowledge about this that they really want to share with other like-minded educators like themselves and share out what they've done. And so they'll write something they want to share on a blue sticky note. And they go over to our girls at the table who sort them all out, and we actually come up with the topics for that conference. So you really, as the kind of organizer, go into the day with a shell of times, but you don't know what the topics are going to be. So it's kind of, you get the butterflies, what's going to happen? Well, they come up with topics. And this is the second summer we did it. This one we had about twice the people we had last year. And again, another year of, you have to have faith in our teachers. They're professionals. They know what they want to learn about. So just like what we're telling our teachers to do with students, to give them a license to map their own learning and know what they need to grow in, it's the same thing for our teachers. We can't always presume that the topics we want are what they want too.
So we had a chance that day to stop and talk with Stacey Pellerin-Vanderloop, who's one of our technology integration coordinators, and we have a little footage of her sharing that process of creating that board and that schedule. So let's take a look.
Okay.
That's the most exciting part because the participants participate in building the board. So it's their suggestions of technology that they want to learn about or technology that they're already using in their room. So it's really customized professional development, customized to their needs. And that's the exciting part.
So how did you get that information, and how do you decide where everyone's going?
When the participants arrive, they fill out yellow Post-it notes, and those are technologies that they want to learn more about. Maybe they've heard of other teachers using this technology in their classroom, or maybe they've had a little bit of experience with it, but they want to go deeper in understanding how to use that technology. And the blue Post-it notes are for topics, educational topics that they could speak about and start a conversation on. They don't have to do a formal presentation, but they will be the conversation starter for that educational technology topic.
So then they fill out their sticky notes, give them to you, and what do you do then?
And then we match them up. So we find yellow Post-it notes that match blue Post-it notes. So someone who wants to learn about an educational technology, and we match them up with someone who knows about that technology, and they end up in the same room together and the conversation starts. We look at really common topics that have reoccurred several times on Post-it notes of topics that they want to discuss, and we kind of build the board based on those topics.
So that's exciting. Despite your nervousness about everyone finding a place to be, everyone did find a place to be.
They did.
We also this day had a chance to talk with Laura Clark, who is another one of our technology integration coordinators, about the people who attended and how they got there and why they chose to come. So let's hear from Laura.
I think there were two groups that came. Some people who are already incorporating technology. I saw groups from schools that I've been in daily or weekly there for a while, building their knowledge, and I saw some people who didn't have any knowledge at all and maybe wanting to get started with some tech. So this was a good opportunity and a good format for both of them. The people that are experienced came to talk to other experienced people and go take things to the next level. And then the people who were here to learn something new have an opportunity to talk to more than just us and more other people in their schools and from other schools in different grade levels. So it was a good opportunity to have those collegial conversations about technology. We gave them the format and suggested maybe some ideas. They suggested ideas, but I've heard lots of other side conversations start. So we got to talk about our Clever. We got to talk about teams. We got to talk about things that aren't really on the board even, but also conversations that they got to have and learn something new from each other.
So how would you distinguish the EdCamp unconference concept from traditional professional development?
I think both have their purposes. Traditional professional development is maybe specifically for one topic, whereas this is a little, we have guidelines that it's within, but they can take it where they need it to go and make it more personal for what they need and not just be about the tech, but how can I use this tech in my classroom. That's what they're getting out of it, I think, a little bit more.
So you mentioned the collegial conversations that you did here.
I have about 5 schools that came, that represented in multiple grade levels came, so it was fun to see them come and ask each other questions now, asking each other's schools. They asked each other about how to, one question I heard was about OneNote. What do they use it for ELA? How do they use it for ELA? How do they use it for math? How are they using it with their parents? So it's a little bit past just the initial how do I use this tech. It's now I need to fine tune it. What other things can I do with it? What other questions do I have about it? So that was fun.
In a typical situation, what opportunity did teachers from other schools have to speak to each other?
Very little time, really. I think they would love to be able to do that, to have those moments to just go to a different grade level even within their schools, but to actually talk to somebody from a different school gives you a completely different perspective. And it's summer still. They're not stressed with every day-to-day classroom routines. They have time to think and plan, and there's still a little time before school starts here, maybe to get that all going and still email back and forth, and they'll have the day to spend to really build that knowledge.
All right, so we had, what do you say, about 50 people attended that day, or 80? How many was that?
Closer to about 80 people. So
Oh, wow,
yeah,
wow.
it was really a nice group of folks, and it was a wonderful day, and we had so much wonderful collaboration, and people getting to hear from folks, like Laura said, that they wouldn't normally get to work with. So,
And even when you go to a normal professional development, you go in, you sit down, you receive the information, but this they really got to share their knowledge across schools. Laura goes and works in a lot of different schools, and she even, is fortunate if those teams get a chance to speak to each other, but let alone teams from different schools. And I think it's really powerful for teachers to realize, hey, I'm not alone. There's other people out here doing this.
that's that huge piece, and that's one of kind of the tenets of EdCamp. Their mission is to kind of build and support those communities of empowered educators. So, they recognize that they're not, especially with technology, you're not the only one doing it. And we still do have some situations where maybe only a handful of teachers are really comfortable really integrating technology to any degree in their classroom. So it's nice for them to see there's other people trying this too.
So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from some of the teachers that participated. Stay tuned, and we're going to hear from teachers who participated in EdCamp, and hear some of the things that they learned that day.